For decades, Fremont Street was treated like the forgotten side of Las Vegas. Tourists were told it was outdated, rough around the edges, and past its prime. The Strip got the billion-dollar towers, the celebrity chefs, the luxury branding, and the global marketing campaigns. Fremont got neon signs, old casinos, and a reputation for being where Vegas used to be. But in 2025, something strange is happening. Fremont Street isn't just surviving, it's quietly becoming the place where Las Vegas actually feels alive again. If you walk down Fremont on a Friday night, you don't get the feeling that you're inside a corporate theme park. You get the feeling that you're inside a city. There's music everywhere, live bands on multiple stages, street performers drawing crowds, people laughing, dancing, wandering from casino to casino without a plan. You don't see guests staring at their phones, calculating what everything costs. You see people enjoying themselves. That difference changes everything. On the Strip, every step feels monetized. You pay to park, you pay resort fees, you pay for water, you pay to sit, you pay to breathe. Every interaction feels like it's been designed to squeeze a little more money out of you. Fremont Street feels like the opposite. You can walk, explore, and enjoy without constantly hitting a paywall. That sense of freedom is what made Las Vegas famous in the first place. And Fremont somehow held on to it while the rest of the city forgot. The irony is that Fremont survived because it never tried to become something it wasn't. While the Strip chased luxury, influencers, and billion-dollar spectacles, Fremont doubled down on what actually brings people back: value, entertainment, and energy. Casinos like Circa, Golden Nugget, and El Cortez invested in modernizing without killing their identity. They upgraded rooms, bars, and technology, but they didn't turn themselves into sterile luxury malls. They stayed casinos, they stayed bars, they stayed weird. And in a city that has become increasingly polished and corporate, weird is suddenly powerful again. There's also a massive shift in who Vegas is attracting. Middle-class American tourists, the people who built Vegas, are being pushed away from the Strip by rising prices, fees, and shrinking value. But those same people are rediscovering Fremont. They're realizing they can get cheaper drinks, better gambling, live entertainment, and a more relaxed atmosphere without feeling punished for not being rich. Fremont isn't trying to pretend everyone is a VIP, it just lets people have fun. That's why it works. You can see it on the casino floors. Fremont casinos are full of players actually playing. Low-limit tables, penny slots, crowds that stay longer because they're not terrified of how much every minute costs. On the Strip, you'll see empty tables with high minimums and guests walking through without stopping. Fremont flips that model. It invites people in instead of daring them to go broke. The walkability also matters more than people realize. The Strip is enormous and fragmented. You spend half your time walking past empty stretches, construction zones, or sky bridges just to get to the next place. Fremont is compact, everything is right there. When people can move easily, they explore more. When they explore more, they spend more. Fremont creates momentum. The Strip creates fatigue. That's why Fremont feels louder, busier, and more alive, even when the Strip has more tourists on paper. Energy isn't about headcount. It's about how people move, interact, and enjoy themselves. Fremont concentrates energy. The Strip spreads it out until it disappears. There's also something deeply psychological happening. On the Strip, people are constantly aware of how much they're being charged. That creates tension. On Fremont, people are aware of how much fun they're having. That creates loyalty. When guests feel relaxed, they stay longer, drink more, gamble more, and come back. Fremont understands this. The Strip seems to have forgotten it. The LED canopy, the street stages, the open-air bars, the old neon signs, they all create a feeling that Vegas used to have. Not perfect, not luxury, but exciting. You don't need a reservation to be part of it. You just show up. That's powerful in a world where everything feels gated and exclusive. Fremont also benefits from something newer casinos can't buy: nostalgia that still works. People who came to Vegas in the 90s or early 2000s recognize Fremont as the place that still feels familiar. But it's not frozen in time. It's updated just enough to stay relevant without losing losing its soul. That balance is incredibly hard to pull off, and Fremont somehow nailed it. Meanwhile, the Strip keeps chasing trends. First, it was luxury, then it was influencers, then it was mega spectacles. Now, it's all about extracting as much money as possible from fewer guests. That model creates beautiful buildings but empty energy. Fremont does the opposite. It creates messy buildings but full rooms, full bars, and full casinos. Another thing people underestimate is how much locals drive Fremont's success. Strip locals rarely gamble on the Strip anymore. It's too expensive. Fremont still gives them a reason to show up. That creates a base of consistent business that doesn't disappear when tourism dips. The Strip doesn't have that safety net. And then there's the simple truth. Fremont is honest about what it is. It doesn't pretend to be luxury. It doesn't pretend to be exclusive. It promises cheap drinks, live music, gambling, and chaos. And then it delivers exactly that. The Strip promises luxury and delivers stress. In a city that was built on fantasy, honesty has become the rarest thing of all. Fremont didn't change. Vegas did. And now people are voting with their feet. You see more tourists starting their nights downtown and skipping the Strip entirely. You see people taking ride shares from luxury hotels to Fremont because they're bored. You see bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, families, and locals all mixing together in a way that feels like old Vegas. That mix is what creates stories, and stories are what bring people back. The Strip is still impressive, it still has the biggest towers and the brightest lights. But Fremont has something far more valuable, people who feel like they belong there. And in 2025, when so many tourists feel pushed out of Vegas, that belonging is everything. Fremont Street didn't become the future of Las Vegas by accident. It became the future by refusing to abandon the past. And in a city that keeps erasing itself, that might be the smartest move anyone ever made. What makes this shift even more important is that Fremont Street isn't powered by one giant corporation. It's a patchwork of different owners, different styles, and different philosophies. That creates competition, creativity, and risk in a way the Strip has slowly lost. When one Fremont casino fails to attract guests, it has to adapt quickly or lose business to the place next door. That keeps prices reasonable and experiences fresh. The Strip doesn't work that way anymore. There, giant corporations protect each other's pricing power, and guests are the ones who pay the price. Fremont, by contrast, still has to earn every dollar.